Okay, students, before you have begun today, you should have set up page 20 in your iBook for notes. And so it should look like this at the top, 2-3, Understanding Proportional Relationships, equivalent ratios. So you have this first section you should have written down, draw a line under it, divide and separate into these two components here. And down here at the bottom, separate these two with page 20. Once you've set that up, we're going to begin. And understanding proportional relationships with equivalent ratios really is one of the easiest way to solve math problems. I'm going to show you the easy shortcut method, and that way it'll be something that you can just remember and process through, because if they're equivalent ratios, that's the same as saying they make equal fractions. So let's look at the most simple way to look at this. At a cafe, the cook uses a recipe that calls for eggs and milk. The amount of eggs and milk have a proportional relationship and complete the table. Okay, if they have a proportional relationship, look, we have number of eggs in this category, cups of milk, but down here it has reversed the order in milk over eggs proportional. So we'll have to take a look at what would go on top and bottom here, okay? Let's start with this first category. If we have milk to eggs, that means the number here for milk over the number of eggs here. So 6 over 2. Well, 6 over 2 simplifies to 3 over 1. So we can write that here as well. Okay? Now let's look at how we would find what would work for each of these categories. If we have 2 eggs to 6 cups of milk, what would it be if we had 3 eggs? Well, the easiest way to do this would be to do what we've practiced a little bit with proportions, and that's multiply your diagonals and divide the other number. So if I do 6 times 3, 6 times 3, I'll put a little X there just a reminder, is 18. Then I take what I multiply with the diagonals and divide the other number. And 18 divide 2, that gives me 9. Okay? And you can do the same over here as well. You can do diagonals, 3 times 12. So multiply your diagonals. That's 3 times 12 is 36. Divide 9. Divide 9 is 4. Okay? And all of these are proportional and simplify if you go milk over eggs. 12 over 4 is the same as 3 over 1 or 3, because 12 divide 4 is 3. 9 divide 3 is 3. And 6 divide 2 is 3. If we do milk to eggs. Okay? So we do the same on all of these. What it wants you to do here is it wants you to check and see if they are proportional. Okay? So if we are to complete this table too, we're going to fill in an extra spot, then we're going to check and see. Just to check this order and make sure they are simplified to the same way, you could also do, let's look here, 25 divide 5 is 5. 30 divide 6, 30 divide 6 is 5. 35 divide 7, because we are doing y divide x. 35 divide 7 is 5. And 40 divide 8 is 5. So this is, yes, this is proportional. So let's make one more. So what if I went on over here to 9? Well, we could do the reverse. Instead of something divide 9 gives me 5, 9 times 5 gives me, if we continue this table, 45. All right, so let's go to the next one and let's see if this one is proportional, okay? So y over x, so we can divide, and remember we can also cross multiply and check for equivalent ratios, like instead of 2/4 and 4/16. What is 2 times 16? 2 times 16 is 32. 4 times 4 is 16. We don't get the same answer. So they're not proportional if you can't get the same answer when you cross multiply. Or you can look at it this way. 16 divide 4, that's 4. 4 divide 2 is 2. This is not proportional. Okay? Not proportional. Let's look at the next one. Let's see if this is proportional. All right? So we can either cross multiply and divide and check these out, or we can also just do y over x. Y over x. So 150 divide 30. 150 divide 30, that's 5. Well, what about 5/6 divide 1/6? If you're not using a calculator, then just write 5/6, keep change flip, instead of divide 1/6 times 6 over 1. These cross out, they cross simplify, and you're left with 5. So far, it looks proportional. But you should always check the rest of these, like 199. Look at that. Will 995 divide 199 and give us 5? Try that in the calculator yourself and see what you get. Did you get 5? You should have. And let's look at the last one. 2/3 divide 2/15. That's the same as 2/3. Keep change flip times 15 over 2. Well, the 2's cross simplify. 15 and 3, what goes into both of them? 3 goes into itself once and into 15 5 times. And you're left with 5. Yes, this entire table is proportional. Okay, now look at this last one. It says, in a design, the number of ovals is proportional to the number of squares. So how many squares will there be when there are 75 ovals? So we build a table, all right? So squares to ovals, okay? Squares to ovals. I can make a table over here, and then we can cross multiply and divide. Let's count these up. Squares. In this case, we have 2. But we're trying to find out how many we have. Okay, so let's count the number of ovals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so for every 2 squares are 10 ovals. So then it's saying, well, how many squares would there be if there are 75 ovals? So see, we have squares here and ovals here. They correspond. All right, so let's cross multiply and divide. 2 times 75 is 150. And then we divide 150 divide 10. So 2 times 75 divide 10. And that should equal 15. So then you would have 15 squares when you have 75 ovals. So you would write that because that would be an explanation. 15 squares when you have 75 ovals. Okay? Now, students, we're going to begin the next portion of the lesson. You should be done with your notes.